You are living inside a timeline, but it's not the only one. Right now, there are infinite versions of you playing out infinite possibilities. Each one vibrates at a slightly different frequency, just beyond your current perception. And yet, most people remain stuck. They repeat the same patterns, attract the same relationships, hit the same walls. They call it fate, bad luck, or a fixed personality. But the truth is, something much stranger. You are not stuck because of external circumstances. You're stuck because your internal system, your thoughts, your emotions, your body, and your subconscious are all locked into the frequency of an old timeline. You cannot break free by simply hoping for something better. You cannot force the shift through brute willpower, and you certainly can't trick the quantum field by pretending to be someone you haven't yet embodied. This shift isn't about intensity, it's about alignment. To truly jump timelines, you have to become so coherent with the version of you in the new reality that the quantum field has no choice but to reflect it. People often misunderstand manifestation. They think if they want something badly enough, the universe will eventually hand it over. But the quantum field doesn't respond to how badly you want change. It responds to how well you align with the frequency of that change. Desire alone is weak in the quantum realm. What matters is your dominant signal. And here's the part most people never hear. Your dominant signal is not your words. It's not your thoughts. It's your full system vibration. What you feel, what you expect, what you embody. You can say, "I am abundant" 1,000 times, but if your stomach tightens every time you look at your bank account, the field picks up the contraction, not the affirmation. You can visualize love every morning, but if your heart is still guarded and afraid, you are broadcasting loneliness, not connection. This is the real reason most people stay in the loop. They believe change comes from action, but quantum shift begins with state. You must first become the person who belongs in the new timeline. Not later, not when the evidence shows up, right now. Quantum physics already confirms this. All possibilities exist simultaneously. Every version of you, every future, every outcome is already vibrating in the field of potential. When you align with a specific frequency, you don't create that timeline. You collapse into it. That version of you has always existed. You're just tuning in, like a radio finding a station. This is what Tesla hinted at when he said, "If you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." These aren't metaphors, they are instructions. The real question is not, how do I get what I want? The question is, who do I need to become in order to match the frequency of the timeline where that already exists? And becoming isn't about pretending. It's not about faking confidence or acting as if. Becoming means shifting your entire system, your breath, your body, your emotions, into coherence with a new state of being. And this is where most people hit resistance. Not because they're lazy, not because they lack discipline, but because their nervous system is still wired for the old reality. Their body finds comfort in the familiar, even when the familiar is painful. Change to the subconscious often feels like a threat. That's why resistance shows up in so many sneaky ways: procrastination, overthinking, avoidance, numbness, or even false productivity. But here's what you have to understand. Resistance is not a sign you're doing it wrong. It's a sign you're approaching the threshold of transformation. The old identity is trying to protect itself, and that protection lives in the body. Emotional imprints, inherited beliefs, suppressed trauma, These don't go away just because you've learned new ideas. They live in your chemistry. They shape your baseline vibration. That's why affirmations often feel empty. That's why visualizations fade. The subconscious is still broadcasting fear, scarcity, and separation. And remember, the quantum field always responds to the dominant signal. This is where neuroscience meets quantum mechanics. In quantum physics, the observer collapses the wave into a particle, a reality. But in real life, it's not your eyes doing the observing. It's your emotional state, your beliefs, your subconscious expectations. Meanwhile, neuroscience tells us that 95% of behavior is driven by the subconscious. So if your conscious mind is aligned, but your subconscious is afraid, you'll keep collapsing the same limited outcomes. That's why changing your job, your partner, or your city rarely works in the long term. You keep experiencing the same emotional patterns in new circumstances. Because nothing outside of you can override a vibration that hasn't changed inside of you. Let's make it plain. You are not creating your future from your goals. You're creating it from your nervous system. So what can you do? You begin with embodiment. And embodiment isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about shifting the small things. Your breath, your posture, your tone of voice, the way you move toward or away from life. These are the real quantum keys. If you want abundance, don't just journal about it. Spend money with trust, not fear. Breathe deeply when anxiety rises instead of collapsing into it. If you want love, don't just visualize it. Open your chest. Let your guard down. Reach out even when it feels scary. If you want health, treat your body like it's already healing. Feed it with care, not punishment. Rest it with love, not guilt. The shift happens in these micro moments because the quantum doesn't respond to grand declarations. It responds to coherence. Now here's something most people miss. You will fall back into old patterns. You will forget. You will wobble. That's not failure. That's life. The real power is not in staying perfect. It's in returning quickly. Every time you catch yourself looping back into fear or doubt and you gently return to alignment, you strengthen the new timeline. And this is the moment where you decide to live differently. If this is resonating, if you feel something stirring, like a code waking up inside you, then stay with it. Subscribe to this channel. Not just for the content, but for the energy. Drop one word in the comments right now. One word that represents the old pattern you're ready to release. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's scarcity. Maybe it's doubt. Naming it is the first step in dissolving it. Let's go deeper. How do you actually make this your lifestyle? First, start your day by tuning in. Before the noise, before the world enters your field, ask yourself, what frequency am I holding? Are you carrying stress or trust? Are you bracing for problems or opening to flow? This is your first act of alignment. Second, move through your day in micro practice. Every choice is an opportunity to vote for your new self. If you want success, are you acting with confidence or hesitation? If you want connection, are you reaching out or shutting down? These small signals shape your reality more than any vision board ever will. Third, learn to regulate your emotions. You will get triggered. That's normal. But instead of spiraling, breathe, ground. Connect with the version of you who already lives the life you want. That version is calm, clear, and steady. Bring that energy online, moment by moment. Fourth, surround yourself with reminders, sacred symbols, repeating numbers, words, images. They help anchor your subconscious to the new frequency. Let your environment speak the truth of your becoming. And finally, practice gratitude, not just as a nice idea, but as a frequency. Gratitude is the emotional signature of already having. When you feel grateful, you tell the field, I already am, I already have, I'm already aligned. This is not theory. This is embodiment. You're not just learning how to shift, you're becoming the shift. You're not waiting for change. You are the change. And now, here's your final invitation. In the next 24 hours, surprise yourself. Do one thing, just one, that belongs to the version of you living in the desired timeline. Maybe it's a choice, a conversation, or a simple moment of stillness. Maybe it's a new boundary. Maybe it's a deeper breath. Let it be small. Let it be real. And when you do it, know this. The field is already listening. You are not separate from the quantum. You are the quantum. You are not chasing the future. You are collapsing it into now. And now is where the shift happens.